Hello, replay viewers.
Oh, dang!
Oh, wow.
Quick.
That was fast. Hey, Katie.
I guess y'all need some social interaction.
I need my...
Will you pull the bags out of mine?
You put cream in Earl Grey?
Yeah.
Oh. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Someone didn't turn the nozzle all the way.
Huh?
Grab a paper towel and turn the nozzle. Okay. Sorry. Hey, Patty M, Lindsay. I don't know how to say that. Musser. Hey, everyone. First live stream. Well, welcome, Lindsay. Simply Southern Roots. Hey, y'all. You definitely from the South. Making lemonade from lemons. Well, ain't that true right now? Andrew Littlefield.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. This is like, hey, y'all.
No, it's just how I actually talk. Hey, North Star Prep Stutter. Fishes and Loaves Live. Guys, I got a cough. I'm not sick, I promise.
What would it matter if you were?
Such an awkward time to cough right now.
What my sister said? She said, you used to cough to cover your farts, but now you'll fart to cover your cough.
So tacky.
So true, though. So true. Because right now, like, if someone farted, it would be like, it's fine. You start coughing, they're getting out of the room faster than anything.
Hey, Morgan Gold, how are you? Hey, Tammy,
Spray
Megan.
her. I'm going to do some disinfectant.
I'm drinking, hold on, I'll tell you what it is exactly. It's a Harney and Sons tea. It's called Paris. It's really, really good. It's black tea, vanilla, black currant, bergamot,
Brandy.
caramel.
Welcome back to the lives. I think there'll be a lot more people catching lives.
I know. Who all... Well, we'll get into that conversation. Let's let everybody get on because the number's climbing quickly.
What's up, Morgan? So
Hey,
actually, I was just talking with Morgan and Ethan, and we are actually going to launch Pew 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 this Tuesday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because we want to talk about something else.
Might as well. We're not doing...
We're not doing anything else.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Mark. Thank you, Andrew. I'm glad you got to catch that. Yeah, so Pew Pew Pew. That's going to be exciting. You want to tell everybody what that is for the people who don't know?
So you know how sometimes when Jessica's not talking about gardening stuff, I'll just talk about all the nerdy stuff that I like. And so me and my other nerdy friends are going to unite, kind of like Voltron or like Power Rangers original, Megazords coming together, make something big. Anyway, so we're going to be hosting a live hangout on YouTube. We actually already secured the channel name. It'll be a separate channel called Pew Pew Pew, and we're just all three going to hang out. We'll take calls and talk with people and just talk about anything that's nerdy stuff. It'll be fun. It'll definitely be fun in the current situation. I think it will be. So
if y'all have questions, make sure you put them in all caps so we can make sure we catch them. Angie Rowe asked, would you buy Nubians if you were starting over? I like our Nubians. I think if I had to choose one, I would buy La Manchas, but I like having Nubians also.
I also really like having tiny goats.
Yeah, I'm liking my tiny goats a lot. Natalie, that would be hilarious. No, the two other guys that are going to be doing Pew 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 with Jeremiah, they're all doing it together, is Morgan Gold. He's on here, Goldshaw Farm. If you're not already following him, he's been commenting. And then 180 Degrees from Average is the other channel, Ethan.
There's Kaylee.
Hey, Kaylee. What time is Pew 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 going to be?
Morgan, what time is it going to be?
I love how Morgan's just the boss.
Okay, listen. It's not that he's the boss. So let's put it into perspective. Morgan is like the Red Ranger, which technically is the boss. But I bet you guys can guess what that makes me. Yes, you are correct. I am the Green Ranger. And then I've got my own little Megazord crawling up out of the ocean. Finger missiles, tail spin drill. Yeah, that's right. I remember. So yes, Morgan is like Red Ranger. I'm the Green Ranger, and I guess makes.
Pew 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 is
Guess
commenting.
what that makes Ethan?
What?
You know Ethan's the Blue Ranger. Come on now. Got to make his calculations. I wish Ethan had to wear glasses all the time.
Snow White Benson. I don't know.
we have very different childhoods apparently.
But yeah, the prayer meeting was really awesome to get to do that. Are you guys growing in it?
Oh, look, there's Pew 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 in blue.
Yeah.
So y'all can go follow that. It will launch the live on Tuesday.
We're growing. I'm growing some new stuff. I'm growing like horseradish and like lots of perennials and ginger. Those are all new things to me this year. But the main thing that we're doing that's new to me this year is we're growing quite a lot. We're growing a whole lot. You've lost it.
I'm so be buffered. Are we back?
Oh. Are our kids on the internet?
It's not buffering here, and it's not on the Wi-Fi, so I think it's okay. Okay.
I should probably just go back there and tell them.
All right. I'll throw down the hammer one more time.
Okay. Yes, the Stout family, very, I don't believe in coincidences at all, but we're going to check and get the kids off the internet because I'm certain that's why it's messing up. But we had actually planned on putting up a high tunnel. Obviously for some people, this has been on their radar here to do something different. Like, I know some people have been talking about the coronavirus since it started really becoming an issue overseas. I actually didn't really, I had not really realized that it was going to be this big of a deal. I don't know that anybody really, I'm sure there were people that guessed it, but I didn't. But a high tunnel is just like a greenhouse. It's just a big greenhouse. But yeah, so we had already planned on extending everything before. And I have probably changed plans a little bit I'm essentially planning on growing a little more for production than I usually do this year, just because that way, if I need to be able to help other people, I can. We just moved to a new home with a 1 acre lot. We have a ton of plants and foliage. We're unsure of what they are. How do we identify them? I don't want to lose a whole year to figure out. There's some really cool apps, like I think Plant Snap is one of them.
I'm sorry, I just have to prove something wrong. Legacy Home and Garden. I saw your question because it was in caps. It actually works.
I think Picture This is one of them. I think one's called Plant Snap, but there's some really cool plant identification apps that you can actually take pictures of things on your phone and it'll identify it, which is really neat. But that's what I would do. Yeah. Have you planted Italian heirloom tomatoes before? Thoughts? Yes, actually. I have grown the Italian heirlooms and really, really, really like those. Can I use my covered patio if I cover the 3 sides with plastics? As far as like starting seeds, Angela, it depends on which direction it's facing. As long as it gets enough sun, but that should be fine. Plenty of people do that. How long from germination to the second set of true leaves for tomatoes and peppers? Like a few weeks, a month is like on the long side for that. But usually it goes a lot faster than that. The main thing that you need to make sure is that they're staying warm enough, because that'll slow that down. And that also your soil is not too dense. Like if you put them in garden soil and pots, one year I did that one of my early years. And my stepmom actually was like, maybe your soil's too dense. And I had to repot everything into potting soil, and then they took off. Oh, Mom and Z's Texas Kitchen. That's awesome. Hey, Amy. Thoughts on growing food if you don't have a ton of sun. I live on the Northern California coast, and in the redwoods, not much open space or sun during the day. You know, Brooke, I don't really have very much experience with that because I do have a lot of sun. I mean, there are always things that you can grow inside with lights. And there are some varieties like lettuces and stuff that do okay with some shade. And you know, most things say they need 6 hours a day of sunlight. Most of them do, at least, you know, the things that we eat. Tomatoes need to be kept warm like peppers. I mean, not like super warm. They don't have to be like, peppers do better if they're warmer, and tomatoes will still grow. They're not going to die until it freezes. They're just going to grow slower. And I find that they do best if you can keep them around like 60 to 70 degrees. Are y'all experiencing an earlier last frost? It seems like we may. You know, Matthew, I think I'm going to live on the edge this year. And I'm going to plant some things. And mostly I've got, you know, like, the risk is you could lose seeds. But right now in my 10-day forecast, I don't have a day that's even in the 30s. So I really think that I could probably get away with planting things this early. The risk is if we do have like a freak late freeze, I'll lose it. But to me, then I'm not out anything rather than waiting to plant it afterwards. So yeah, it looks like we might have an early last frost. Where did you get your blossom bags and what plants do you not use them on? I really only use those on like tomatoes and then peppers. You could use them on eggplants. I never have before. That's the only thing I've ever really been that worried about, making sure it doesn't cross-pollinate though. How do you repot cucumbers without shocking them? I really don't usually repot cucumbers. If you need to, I mean, if it's down to repotting them and dealing with shock, or not repotting them and them dying because it's not enough space, I mean, just repot them, and if they shock, they shock. Just handle them carefully and try not to damage the roots the best you can. A great Instant Pot recipe. I don't know, Adam. I feel like everything I cook in the Instant Pot is like pretty thoroughly mediocre. I've done some okay things. Maybe I'll just have to share those. God, 90 there on Wednesday. Wanda, where are you? Is there any important advice you would give to someone growing for the first time in a no-till garden? I started mine. We're going big to help give out food, and I'm never grown in the ground. Back to natural. This is actually my first year doing an in-the-ground no-till garden. I would watch a lot of Charles Dowding. That would be my advice, is watch Charles Dowding, because he knows what he's talking about, and I don't. I don't think I've said hi to Big Bear yet, or the Stivers, or Walterman Homestead. Hello to all of you.
There's no such thing as cheesecake in the Instant Pot.
Yes, there is.
We would know about it.
There is. No, it's not. That's for real.
And then we have a problem. Let's discuss this off camera.
We have health goals. Okay.
Not anymore. What's the point? Cheesecake for everybody.
Can you reuse potting soil? Elizabeth, I usually, like, once I've grown in it once, I usually dump it into my bed so that I can amend it, because it does become depleted. But yeah, I mean, you can add to it and reuse it.
See, I wish we would have had an R2D2 Instant Pot at this point so we could make cheesecake and I could eat it directly out of R2D2. Because he's my friend.
Thank you, Candy Lynn.
Someone was asking where we are currently getting seeds from. We know Haas Tools is still shipping.
The last place that, I actually got some microgreen seeds from Haas Tools a couple of days ago, and I know that they're still shipping as of right now.
We do not sell seeds. We do not have that capacity anywhere close.
Both Amy Schroeder. I have the alpacas for joy and for fiber. Which, now that I'm learning to spin, I'm way excited about getting that alpaca fiber. Oh. I've not grown a lot of corn. I've grown a little bit of like the glass gem stuff. That is like real decorative, but I haven't grown a lot of like corn just for eating. It's just, it takes up a lot of space, and it's so cheap to buy the organic corn here locally. So I just buy it, but it would be cool to grow it. Okay. Goldshaw Farm said Johnny's is still shipping, that he just put in an order. No, Jill, we're not drinking coffee. We're drinking tea. Oh, there's Jill, Whispering Willow Farm.
Why would you? What if we were drinking coffee? Also, where is your husband? He did not show up today.
What is your favorite way to grow potatoes? Well, I've only ever done it in like boxes before, and this year I'm growing a lot in the ground, so I don't know that I really have a favorite. But I'm going to try the Ruth Stout method if you've not looked into that. We plan on Papa Pepper, what's up, man? We plan on making our own corn tortillas and tortilla chips this year, and now we have all the more incentive. Absolutely. Susan, do you know much about growing endive? Not really. I know that it likes it cold. Jennifer, I have a couple of canning videos, kind of like an overview and then a water bath canning video. I need to do a pressure canning video. What is a good size canning jar for a beginner? I don't know that the size of the jar really makes that big of a difference. The process is still the same. I would say that that's more dependent on your family size.
We got 16 subs because we legit.
Huh?
We got 16 subs on Pew Pew Pew.
Oh, cool.
We're very cool.
What veggies do you can? Green beans, pickled beans, cucumbers, obviously like tomato stuff, salsa. I've made like relishes and like that kind of thing, like, like squash relish and trying to think, goodness, obviously lots of beans. And then I also pressure can like meat and stuff too. Yeah, it's kind of like Jen said, only can what you'll actually eat and or give to others. One of the things that I have a little bit of a hard time with canning, just being frank, is that a lot of recipes call for a lot of sugar, and we really just don't eat a lot of refined sugar. So like, I could make a lot of that stuff, but we're not really going to use it. I've got squash relish in my pantry that's been in there for 3 years. I really only eat it whenever I've like really got a hankering for it.
I think we might be able to do some more cooking videos. Someone was asking.
Yeah, we have the time now. Do ground cherries need a lot of space first year growing them? They grow really low to the ground, and I would say like plants in good soil, they're going to get pretty big. So, but if you grow them like a couple of feet apart, they just kind of like bunch up together, and they do okay. So they don't necessarily need a ton of space, but they are going to get kind of big.
Claire S., I just got my seed potatoes and they don't have sprouts. Can I still plant them? I would think yes.
I actually don't know the answer to that question because I've only ever planted ones with sprouts. So maybe, can somebody else answer that question?
But even if she just left them?
Yeah, if you set them out, they'll grow sprouts. But like, I don't directly know the answer to that question.
No sprouts needed, only eyes, which are those little spots where the sprouts come out of.
Cool, my very own homestead. That's awesome. You got your Murray McMurray catalog. Our chicks will be here in 2 weeks.
April 6th.
Are they coming in April 6th or shipping on April 6th?
Shipping April 6th.
So they'll be here like the 7th or the 8th.
7th.
Are your roasted radishes spicy or have that radish bite? No, they mellow out a lot when you roast them.
It is the Ethan.
The Ethan.
The trifecta is complete. No, we will.
Hey, Two Family Homestead.
Oh, man.
Huh? Oh.
Guys, that's actually an okay comment.
No, it wasn't it wasn't.
They flagged it because they used the word sex in it, which is sex link. Come on, guys. Let's get with the program.
It wasn't the moderators. It was automatic.
Oh, I know what I'm saying. Someone just deleted it. Look. Someone took it out. Green Zebra Gardening. Bring it back. Yeah, bring it back. That was an appropriate comment.
It's back.
Green Zebra. No, it's not. Oh, Green Zebra Gardening. Too fast on the draw. Wider.
Hey, after last week and the trolls that were going last week, I'm glad that they're on.
When you guys did the whole prayer thing with Luke at first, and Luke's like, "Listen, I'm right here. I'm gonna be watching. It'll be fine." I was thinking, "Oh no."
Yeah, we had some really bad trolls when we did that. But y'all are. We have like our moderators are like the Wild West for real. They handle business.
Handle that business. Ain't no one talking about that on this channel.
You Are My Sunshine said we leave our seed potatoes in a dark place for them to get eyes, then plant. So that's a good little tip there. Cool, Ready Vic. I'm glad to have you here live. So zucchini salsa. I've done like a squash relish, which I wonder if that's a similar thing.
We've never intentionally grown mushrooms. We did accidentally. That
they grow on like logs and stuff, but no, I've never inoculated logs or anything like that. We don't eat just a ton of like wild mushrooms, like the really like strong flavored ones. We just don't eat a lot of that stuff. If you were to use horse manure in a 2,000 square foot garden, would you put aside space to compost it and then use it, or would you mix it fresh and let it age in ground before planting? It wouldn't matter either way, Lisa. Debatably, horse manure needs to age between 3 to 6 months. I've heard different takes on that. The main thing that my opinion when it comes to aging manure, and when it's debatable, when people say like 3 to 6 months, if I plant on the earlier side of what's suggested, I make sure that I don't plant anything that you eat directly out of the soil, like lettuce or anything like that. Like I'll plant fruiting stuff. I'll plant stuff that's going to have a rind or skin or something like that that's going to grow up off the ground. That's kind of my take. How cold can it get at night without killing or stunting my tomatoes? Homesteading minimalist. It won't kill them till it freezes. Hey, Coral.
Someone says I have 10 hens and getting 3 to 4 dozen eggs a week. I need hens like that.
Yeah, our hens are freeloaders.
But they're about to be stew meat.
No, they're not.
They better start cranking out eggs. Things go sideways.
Oh my goodness. But tomatoes they won't die till it freezes. They can go, but they really don't do well until it's like 50 at night on average. So a lot of times, like, maybe 45 at night is on the low end of what they do well in. Yeah. How are the bees getting ours soon? Homestead engraving business. Well, we lost the one hive.
We lost the one hive. The other hives seem to be doing fine. Honestly, if I'm being real transparent, they haven't been the highest priority. Mm-hmm. Honestly, getting all of our growing spaces set up has been number one. Yeah. Because we need to get stuff in the ground to get as much food out of the ground as we can.
Yeah. Do you have tomatoes started now, or is it better to direct sow? Mine are all started already. Oh, good, Terry. I'm so glad you're trying those new things.
Good luck with kale.
Hey, Cosmopolitan Cornbread. Do you have to acclimate things you started in the greenhouse? Yes. You have to harden those things off, usually setting them outside for a few hours a day. I usually do it like morning or evening before the midday so that they can kind of get used to it. Wow, thank you so much, TC Games. I appreciate that. Wow.
See, that's one of my nerd friends. TC Games, what do you think that's about? That's not board games. It plays video games. I love
it. Yeah, wow, thank you so much. Will dwarf Siberian kale grow in partial shade as well as full sun?
Why can't I grow leafy greens when I suck? You don't suck. You don't suck.
Who said that? With full sun or partial shade, kale does okay with a little bit of shade. It depends on what you're defining as partial shade. Like full sun is 6 to 8 hours of sun a day. And so even if it gets afternoon shade, that's still not considered really partial shade. It's really more like half the day is shade to be considered partial shade. So I mean, it probably needs like at least 6 hours a day of sun, I would guess, to do really well.
I just gave you.
Did you, what?
Ethan said, I just gave you $100 of Lord of the North cash. You can spend it when you come to the North. It's not coming up on the computer yet.
I saw somebody say hi to Murray McMurray Hatchery. I didn't see Murray McMurray Hatchery, but hello.
Oh, yeah, there they are.
Do you have a recipe for cooking beet greens? Wanda, I'm kind of a one-trick pony when it comes to cooking greens.
Listen, I can give you the best recipe
Don't
for
be
beet
ugly.
greens.
Don't
I'm
be
not going to be
right
ugly. Now. I'm just not from the South. The best recipe is you feed them to your pigs. It becomes bacon. If you eat the bacon, I'm telling you, the beet greens taste so good. They're so, once it hits your lips, bacon, so good. I'm sorry if you're a vegetarian. I didn't mean to offend you. Didn't think about that on the front end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sometimes you got to kind of follow up with that apology when you open your mouth too fast.
But bacon is delicious, let's be honest.
I am like...
Come on now. Come on.
I like to saute an onion and some garlic and then with butter in the pan or coconut oil and then like cook greens down in that. That's probably my favorite way to do most greens. And yeah, so.
I think my recipe's better.
And
since that's like green bacon, like greeny bacon, you cut that up and then you add a little bit of bacon to it for flavor. Mix
Marie
it all together.
DaCosta, my kale is huge. I planted last year and it survived the winter. How long will it grow? It really depends on the temperatures where you are. A lot of times when things overwinter like that, they'll go to seed in the spring. So it'll start shooting up. Sometimes it'll last a really long time. So yeah. Greens are good when cooked with bacon also if you're a meat eater. What are our ages? I'm 34. Jeremiah is 35. How did you train Bear to do so well on the farm? And how are you guys going to train Con? Con is getting a lot better. Now, you have to kind of take into consideration.
Let's say he's like a 5.5 out of 10.
What's Bear?
8.5.
Really? Just an 8.5?
Listen, whenever did you?
Bear pooped on the floor.
Bear peed on Dan's leg. Bear peed on
like
you.
A year ago.
That wasn't even a year ago. Bear peed on you, marking U.S. territory.
One time.
Like if that
had never done it again.
That is not acceptable in 2020. You can just mark a woman and be like, "You're my territory." Not politically correct, Bear. Okay. Con gets a 5.5 because honestly, he wants to pounce on those little baby goats.
Yeah, he's been making.
And I'm honestly like, I'm gonna be doing a video about how to electrify your fence to keep dogs away from goats, because I tell you right now, if that dog gets in there and kills one of those baby goats, we're gonna have a "do you want to meet your maker" moment. I will lose it.
No, he's not gonna be able to get in there.
I don't think so.
No,
but I'm just telling you. One time a dog got in and killed all of our chickens, and it was our dog. But it was like new.
It was our fault.
Safe. We thought we had it secured. He freaking went in there and just killed everyone except like 6 chickens. It's actually a really sad story, but it's also got like a hero. We had this one like old Lavender Orpington who the other chickens didn't like, so they kicked her out of the flock. And like she actually died with her wings over some of the babies and protected them. And like those are the chickens that lived. So she gave her life to save other chickens. It was like I could write a movie and it would be Olive
the Orpington.
But yeah, we had some fence issues, and I had the electric fence, and I got them all worked out, and like got the Energizer working at peak capacity because Gerard's trying to break out and sing the song of his people to Fanny. And I'll tell you what, it popped him so hard the other day when I finally got it fixed that he had to sit down. He was like, "Oh, I can feel that one in my loins."
Yeah, the baby goats are doing really well. And the thing with the 2 different dogs, like about training, is you really do have to keep a dog's breed into consideration whenever you are bringing them onto a farm. Like Bear is a German Shepherd mixed with a King Shepherd, which a King Shepherd is like a non-AKC breed. It's got Malamute and Pyrenees bred into German Shepherd, and they started in like the 90s.
And he's particularly got strong Pyrenees traits because he's got the dew claws.
You can see it on Bear that he's got a little bit of
his fur is fluffier. Like if you ever pet a German Shepherd that's kind of more coarse, this is really fluffy like a Pyrenees. Even though he looks like a shepherd, his ears are floppier.
Yeah. And
so his personality is actually probably more Pyrenees, which is why
Bear's so lazy. Like
he's trustworthy also.
Yeah, and he's like never been aggressive at all towards the kids. He doesn't have a high prey drive. He did kill some birds.
He did when he was very young. But here's where a bear doesn't earn a 10. That's why he's an 8.5, because he succumbs to peer pressure. Okay, whenever the other dog's like, yo, dude, I got this great idea. We're going to go out. We're going to go kill some chickens and eat them. He's like, okay, let's do it. See? So when he's by himself, I don't think there's anything to be worried about. It's whenever he's got outside influence. You want to say hi? You know, you all have those friends. Okay. Like, when he has outside influence, no, not trustworthy. Because honestly, Bear doesn't ever break out. He breaks out whenever he follows Con, who broke out.
The only other thing with Bear that is a downside, and this is just the overflow of the good thing, Bear is very, very, very attached to me. Now, he does not have separation anxiety when I'm not here, but when I'm in the backyard and I'm not allowing him to be with me, he is a pain in the butt. He will sit there and whine and fuss. But he's fantastic. He's the best dog I've ever had for sure. And Con's getting way better. Con is getting way sweeter to me. Like when I went to Iowa and I came back, I'd never seen Con so excited to see me. I was really surprised. It's just like shepherd dogs are literally like making eye contact, being like, what do you want? What do you feel like? Am I making you happy right now? Would you like me to change? How can I accommodate your needs, master? Like that's how shepherds are. Con has literally just been completely oblivious to the fact that we're people, like, pretty much forever. We're just in his way.
Yeah,
what
Gabe's
did you
pretty.
Just post?
Oh, I was trying to post the image. It's not clickable. No. Oh, it's clickable. Oh no, it's not. I don't know how to post it. Then it's this.
Oh my gosh!
Look how majestic he is. Why does Ethan remind me of the guy from Dos Equis?
I don't know. I don't know at all. Yeah, you'll have to show them.
Yeah. That never really comes through very well. No, Gabe has, for the most part, chilled. Like, he doesn't chase birds. He's very protective. Everyone responds to his bark. Like, he was 2 yards away from the chickens, and something was wrestling around, and he didn't feel comfortable with it. So he starts barking, and all the chickens literally went inside the coop.
Yeah. The goats listen to him
very well. Now, when he first got around the Nigerian dwarfs, he kind of acted weird, but I actually don't think he was being aggressive. I think he was being inquisitory and wanted to make sure that he established himself as the boss so they would listen to him. Does that make sense?
Amy said, I had to chase that fool down the other day. Amy was with us when we brought
Yeah, but the thing is, like, honestly, we were freaking out because of Con first, and then Gabe compounded it. I actually don't think, if I could have been there with Gabe, I don't think it would have escalated like it did. Like, I don't think we would have had to have chased him. He would have just introduced himself, and I think he would have been fine.
Someone said post that picture on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, I'll post it on Facebook. Oh, yeah, Morgan just posted it.
Oh, my gosh. Maya, you need to do to follow your dogs around and do a voiceover for each of them with different voices. That would be hilarious.
That actually would be
hilarious. Sometimes have conversations with Bear and like pull what is the guy off of Frozen or he talks back?
Olaf.
Not Olaf.
Oh, Sven.
Sven. Is that?
That's the
Kristoff.
Kristoff.
Yeah, Kristoff and Sven. Yeah, Gabe's really chill though. He's really good. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I'm scrolling up trying to catch some of the things that I miss. Would you ever consider getting runner ducks? Grace Carter, we actually had runner ducks. I really, really liked them. We're actually getting cayugas this year, though, because I want those dark eggs.
Yeah, we've got, oh my gosh, we have so many birds coming. Jessica, this is what happens whenever you send your wife up to the hatchery to become friends with the people who run it. Just saying. Which me and Tom are pretty close, but like, I wasn't like, yo, Tom, Ashley, what's up? Give me all your birds. Like.
Whatever. You totally encouraged me. You were so.
I did.
Also, we made our order before we went to the hatchery.
That is true.
And we did add up the other day that we ordered a lot of chickens.
So we get it. Yeah, but we're going to be, hey, it's a good time to have extra chickens. We're going to be helping people out. We've got the ducks coming, the 5 geese. I think it's like 15 or 20 ducks. 5 geese.
I don't think it's happening.
I have the numbers, remember.
That was weird. That was a weird thing to do.
Nope. I
That
wanted
you
more.
did. Well, let's just put that little mark down.
After you told me to. So we're good. So, and then we've got 6, 12, 18. 18 heritage turkeys and 20 broad-breasted white turkeys and 50 broad-breasted white chickens.
They're not called broad-breasted white. They're called Cornish Rock.
Cornish Rocks chickens. Broad-breasted white turkeys and then Cornish Rocks.
But they do have a broad breast, and they are white, so
same thing.
It's not.
It's like their code name. Yo, what you still there? Yeah, I'm here.
Aurelie Perez, do you have meat birds? And if so, do you slaughter yourself? Yes, we do our own butchering, and we are about to raise a round of meat birds.
No. Yeah, yes. Actually, yes and no. Yes and no.
Repeat the question.
Will
That's what you're talking about.
I'm thinking about it in my head. Will we keep the ducks, geese, turkeys, and chickens together? So the turkeys will have their own house with the guineas. I forgot about the guineas. There's 30 guineas. So turkeys and guineas will have a house that we'll train them to. The ducks will have a house that's a different style of house that we'll train them to. Then we'll have the chicken coops that we'll train them to. The chicken coop that I built for Jessica that looks like the little mercantile shop, that fence around that, we're actually going to take down. Okay,
so they can
free range everything. On that hill in the woods behind that is where we'll put the duck house and the turkey house. So they'll all be together during the day, and then they should, hopefully, if we do it right, go back to their respective houses.
Ice cream's after the walk.
And then the geese, I think.
Now's not the time, darling.
Ask Jackson and Asher to help you. Okay, go on.
Okay, go ask them for
They'll help you. Go on.
Well, Jackson kept me off my turn.
Oh,
Okay,
well, your
on.
turn might have been over.
I love you.
Parenting.
Well, no,
It even happens when there are 963 people watching you.
I understand. I very much understand. But you still have to go.
I was at the part where we
No.
and it told me to get off, so that means I skipped
30
back.
guineas, yeah. Some of the birds that we are gonna, I don't know. We'll just see. We raised quail, Jennifer, and there's a channel called Homestead Dreaming. She's a friend of ours. Is she on here? And she actually has our quail, so she's raising quail. Yeah, but, daddy, but that's exactly right. Damn it, Gear. That's the song of our household lately. Yeah, you just have a small town share your kids. That's exactly right. There's lots of
Wide Family
negotiating.
Farm. Did they come to our house before?
Did they?
They said, I want that sweet pepperoni she put over cream cheese.
Well, I mean, I could have mentioned in one of the
How could they
550
know that?
videos that we've made.
That is actually very good.
Oh my goodness.
So glad you could be laughing at my expense.
I love you. What herbs, plants do you use for health? Definitely like Tulsi is a good herb to grow.
That's a good
Echinacea. Echinacea, I grow lemon balm. That's a good one for like anxiety and different things. Those are the ones that I grow. And of course, a lot of the culinary herbs have benefits as well. Man, I'm kind of blanking. I'm a teenager and want to start a garden in my yard. I already have permission, but what crops do you think are the easiest for a beginner? Well, first, I applaud you for taking interest in this as a teenager. You'll have so much success ahead of you and be so far ahead of the curve by starting young. So I think that's amazing. I did a video a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember what it was called. It was like less than 2 weeks ago about like what to plant in a small garden. And that video is a really good one to start because I was really considering like the new grower. So definitely check that out. That would probably be the best starting place that I could give you. A southern thing, pepper jelly with pimento cheese. We usually do pepper jelly. Like I make either
with strawberry jam.
Yeah, like different pepper jellies or strawberry jalapeno or like pear habanero or peach habanero.
You know what's really good with you take the pepper jelly jam, the candied peppers, right? Cut them up or dice them up, food processor or something, mix it into the cream cheese, put that on a cracker, and then a small piece of smoked salmon on top of that. It'll change
Y'all panic bought.
Actually, we shouldn't be talking about that because honestly, I don't think there's going to be that many people having access to salmon.
Y'all panic bought a herd of goats, and I panic bought a pair of breeder rabbits for me, and my dad called you an enabler. That's funny, Sunflower Valley. That's really funny. We did Detroit. Oh, okay. You're talking to Terry.
Hey, we actually do have a smoker, so we might try and smoke some meat.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. How many? I'm curious. I'm just curious. Out of the 964 people here, how many of you are like? We're getting like we've had a huge influx of subscribers just in the last couple of weeks, and I'm wondering if we're getting people who, if it's just normal like springtime growth, or if we're getting people who are learning, like panicking over the empty shelves in the grocery store. And I want to say that like I don't know exactly how it's going to play out and what kind of food shortages there actually will be, but I think I had somebody message me. Actually, I had a couple of people message me because of the videos that I've been putting out recently and basically say that they felt like I was spreading like panic or fear by pretending like there were shortages that there aren't actually. And thank you, Bonnie Klein. Don't laugh like that.
Why? Do you want me to pull up the pictures you sent me from the local grocery store that we shop at?
So I understand that it's largely at this point a distribution issue.
Okay.
But to me, it's absolutely like indicative that the system, we are very, very dependent on something that could be affected very quickly. And also, we don't know how the next few weeks and months are going to play out. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. And there could be food shortages. I mean, like, we can't believe that the entire state of California is going to go into lockdown.
Can you put a moderator in timeout?
Who are you talking about? Oh, it's Jason. I'm afraid they're going
Hey, we have enough moderators.
Why, Jason? Because that's one of the
longer required.
That's one of the only things that you can't grow at your farm.
Step away from the computer, boy. Okay, yeah. So essentially, it feels tight now, but you can't, like Jessica said, you can't put the state of California on shutdown.
And they're not being
and think that it's not going to affect the food system in the United States. Guys, we know where the food comes from.
Yeah.
Like, and then on top of that, Mexico's like, we're going to close our border. So now we're shut down, which is where the other portion of our food comes from.
Yeah.
Like, we're not even actually feeling it yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's coming. It has to be. If you shut down California, it's going to have a ripple effect. It's inevitable.
But I don't think that the best way to handle they're immersed in it. I mean, this is what people are talking about. It's what's happening. It's too big to ignore. And honestly, like, we have to acknowledge, 180 degrees from average said, plus China is not shipping us anything. Like, and here's the thing. Like, if you were here 3 months ago, I was encouraging you to grow a garden. If this goes away tomorrow, which it's not going to, but if it goes away tomorrow and you come back 3 months from now and 3 years from now, I'll be here encouraging you to grow a garden no matter what. And so, like, I agree, Rhonda. It definitely feels very, very surreal.
Murray McMurray says we are considered essential.
Yeah,
so
guys, I don't know if anybody asked, but Murray McMurray Hatchery is still shipping because they are considered essential, being, so you can still purchase chicks, and the seed companies, they're trying to stay open. Like, I talked to Luke day before yesterday, and I mean, the thing is that the companies, I mean, these seed companies they're run by real people. I mean, they're under lockdown too, and they're going out and having they're having a lot of restriction, and they're having all of these issues too, and they're doing the best that they can. And so honestly, it is the time to have grace for people. So definitely, I wish I knew.
Ethan's like, don't buy any birds from them. I still have to place my order. Too late, Ethan. You better get on it. What are you trying to do?
I was trying to make it slow chat.
Well, 2 families on here.
They've told me a jillion times.
Yeah,
how to
maybe
do
I'll
this.
maybe I'll try.
Yeah,
that.
you should probably be the one to try to do that.
Well,
but yeah, we're getting. There have been so many. There are a lot of opinions. And this is another thing.
I don't think that the government shut down seed companies because they weren't essential like they did restaurants. Luke closed because they put restrictions on the amount of employment.
No, they haven't been shut down by the government.
He shut it down because they could not keep up with it. It's impossible.
And and Baker Creek did the same thing. They had to stop because their system was crashing and they don't have the manpower to ship that many things. These are just, it's not automated. There's somebody picking those orders with their hands. Like, if you don't have the manpower, you can't do it. And so Haas Tools is still shipping. Morgan said Johnny's is still shipping. If anybody else has ordered this last couple of days from a seed company, throw it up here and help everybody else out to know where to get their stuff.
I know that Stark Brothers is still shipping stuff, and they've got a 40% off sale on some stuff. Now, not everything. Obviously, there are a lot of perennial stuff, but at this point, like, it wouldn't hurt to get. There's some berries that produce sooner, right? I know we ordered some that.
Yeah, they're not going to produce a lot the first year, but I mean, you can get them started. Here's the thing, like, okay, and this is where Jeremiah and I have discussed, and this is what we've decided on.
Yes, Haas is still shipping as last time we checked. We just got our order like Friday.
He was still shipping as of like yesterday. Yeah, that's right, Xavier. A lot of our stuff comes from South America. Like, China's not shipping anything out right now. Like, basically, do you think there's a shortage of seeds then or a shortage to help fill orders? Kaylin, I think it's filling orders and also seeds that are packed. Like, oh, he's so tired. Baker Creek and In My Garden are both. I mean, those are the two that I've like kind of known more of the behind the scenes. Like, I've been to Baker Creek, and a lot of times, like with Baker Creek, stuff will go out of stock on the website. It's because they don't have them packaged. Somebody has to stand at a machine, and some of them are even hand packed. And they'll have like a bucket of the seeds in the back, but they're not in packages yet. So they go out of stock so that they can package more. And so that's part of what's happening. It's not that they're out of seeds at their place. Like, their seed banks are probably still full. They have backup. They're just not packed because they pack them there. Okay, cool. Crazy Chick Vintage said Pine Tree Garden Seeds is still shipping. I've had good success with Pine Tree. I've ordered for them before. And amen, Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. And this is true. Okay. And I've said this before and I will repeat it. Okay. I'm trying to make sure that I always want to lead you guys in the right direction. In times of trouble, let it be. That's what my think of. But in times of trouble, what your preferences might be otherwise, you kind of got to let it go. Like Mama Z's Kitchen said, frankly, go to the dollar store and get seeds if you have to right now just to get stuff in the ground. And I agree with that. Like right now, we need to learn to save all our own seeds. Tammy Gear, guess what my video is about tomorrow? Like right now, we're adjusting where we're saying, thank you, Greenwich Homestead. If this blows over and it's being over exaggerated, and we prepare as if it's going to be really bad, we will be none the worse off. If we blow it off as if it's no big deal and it's way worse than we thought, then we will be worse off. And so to us, the wisest thing to do is hope for the best, pray for the best, and prepare for the worst. Like, prepare for this to be long lasting, prepare for there to be shortages. And here's my thing. I understand that many people are not in a place. Oh, is Hudson Valley still shipping?
Still
awesome.
Shipping.
Hudson Valley's great company, super, super sweet people. And they're so passionate. But yeah, I mean, like Dollar Trees have seeds, Walmart. I mean, like all these stores, they carry seeds. Not my favorite places to get seeds because I don't know exactly where they're sourced. But in times of, I mean, like, honestly, if you are in a really bad place and you're concerned about growing food, if you can get your hands on some organic dried beans at the grocery store, you can grow those. Like, those are seeds. Those are bean seeds. You can grow those and wait till they dry to harvest them, or harvest them young as snap beans. local feed stores, grocery stores. Like I walked in the grocery store recently and they had a little display of seeds, and they were half picked over at this point, but you can go ahead and get those. Thank you guys for posting the links to seed companies that are still shipping. Yeah, and good luck, Naked Gardener said, good luck finding beans at the store. You might not be able to do that, but if you have some beans in your pantry, you can grow those. Tractor Supply, I went in Tractor Supply. I had to go get some medicine, some CDT for my goats this week on one of my last runs out. And Tractor Supply still had a lot of seeds, a lot of plants, like berry plants and stuff like that. They still had onion sets. So are you actually having to stay home now? Pubs, clubs, and a lot of places are starting to shut down here in Australia. In our state, in Arkansas, which we live in the South in the United States, Arkansas is a pretty rural state. We do not have a super dense population as far as states go. We have, as of right now, we have like 160 confirmed cases of the virus. At this point, all restaurants, clubs, like all of that is already shut down here.
No, okay. There's all restaurants open for drive-through.
Drive-through and curbside only.
Yes, they have not completely closed.
So yeah, and then essential businesses are open. They have not like locked.
A lot of businesses have moved. So essentially, we're not locked down yet as a state.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, turnip greens taste better as bacon. Y'all are so funny. Hey, VW Family Farms. Yeah, we're not locked down yet. I would guess, and I've been listening to a guy that I feel like is a pretty sound source. And I really hope that what he's saying is that I hope he's being extreme. He's a pathologist. Like, I hope that he's being extreme. I hope it's not as bad as he says. But let me see if I can find, hold on, let me see. I'm gonna look it up. I feel like his information, it doesn't feel like fear mongering. And I don't know how to explain this to you other than the fact that, do you know what I'm talking about when you listen to some people and you feel terrified inside your heart? Like you feel so afraid. Like I don't feel like that listening to him. I feel the gravity of it, but I don't feel like he's being like doomy, like if that makes sense. But his channel's called Peak Prosperity. And that's where I've been kind of listening to kind of some of the worldwide stuff, because he's actually been warning people that this is going to happen since like December, since it really started to become an issue. And he's also does a lot with like finances, and he talks a lot about the market and different things like that. But I don't know, like to me, it's kind of given me, if you're wanting to listen to 40 minutes a day, and like, it's kind of given me a little bit more of a grasp of the possibility of this. And I think that I needed that to be like, okay, this could be for real. Cool, Donna. I'm glad to hear other people have been listening to him too. Lots of people are saying that they listen to him. Oh, wow. I didn't realize that she was Morgan Goldshaw Farm said, my wife started working at the COVID-19 clinic for our region last week. She's really concerned about our inability to contend with the spikes of cases and lack of supplies. And I have friends who are in the medical field. A girl I went to high school with, she actually was tested positive, and she is on the recovering side of it. But she said it's the sickest that she's ever been. She said it was really, really miserable, but she is recovering. So that's really beneficial. Sherry Mize, I'm really glad to hear that. That makes me feel better. Like I felt like he was a really solid source, but I don't know, I don't know a lot of people that have listened to him. And so I'm glad to hear people that are listening to him. I feel really good about what he's saying. Like I feel like it's solid. So what we've just basically decided to do is that the wisest thing that we can do is just prepare for the worst and hope for the best, and have a lot of opinions about, conspiracies and ideas and motives and where this is coming from and why it's happening and what's happening behind the scenes. And here's the thing, guys, I have no, false idea or false security that everything is hunky dory and all the government and that everything is fine. I don't feel that way, but that is not the thing that God has put in my hands to worry about. In my hands is grow food, teach people how to grow food. And so that's what I'm going to do. Oh, wow. Pure Hearts Homestead. I did not know that. Please pray for my son-in-law, Ricky. They think he has CV. Wow. Okay. Absolutely. Well, Father, we just lift up Ricky to you right now, God, and we just ask that you would move on his body, move on his heart, that anything going on in him would be revealed and that he would make a full recovery in Jesus' name. Yeah, so, it's definitely something that it's for real. And here's
see you, Ethan.
What I don't think that we can do by Ethan is I don't think that it's fair to our friends and our family members and the people who are working in the medical field when they're saying to us, hey, this is serious. This is what we need from you. Just deciding that you know better. To me, what's the harm of treating this like it's seriously? I've seen so many people that are like, I'm not going to be told what to do. I'm not going to be a sheeple. I'm not going to do that. And I'm like, what is there to gain at this point? Like, I just don't really understand why. And so to us, we are self-quarantining. We are prepared for the fact that we'll be told to stay home. We had already planned on tripling our gardening space. We're going to continue to do that. I could grow all the food my family needs in the garden we already had, but we're going to triple that garden space. Somebody asked earlier, how do you plan to deal if people start stealing out of your garden? I'll tell you this, I've already got stuff pinned on my Pinterest board from months ago because I just kept having
We've talked about it online.
Yeah, I've talked about it online. I kept having this, this idea pop in my head, this vision of having a produce stand of free produce out on the other side of our fence and having our fence closed. And so, honest to God, if I found somebody stealing out of my garden, I would pack them some bags of food, because if you're at that point, then, that's why I'm growing extra, is so that people will have what they need. And we're obviously we're considering our parents, we're considering, our family, that we can cover these things. I think it is awesome that we did decide to go ahead and order so many chickens. And so we are prepared to be able to help people. And I understand that a lot of people are not in the position that we're in. And here's my thing. Yeah, Jen Barnes, absolutely. The thing that we're at is we work from home, so we can stay home. We can keep our 5 kids at home. We don't have to go those places. We can grow food. And so to me, to refuse to be compliant with that just doesn't make sense to me. I can do this. And I've seen a few people ask, what BW Family Farm.
Hey, listen, you come and drop off some of that beef. You can eat some tomatoes.
Somebody asked, I've seen a couple of people ask what to grow. I did a really long, it is an information unload for sure, but I did a really long video talking about what to plant that will grow fast, that grows pretty easy, just a couple of days ago. I think it's called food that grows fast or something like that. So definitely check that out if you're looking for that information.
If you guys wake up and we're out in your field eating one of your cows, just don't shoot us. Jessica doesn't actually figure out how many plants she needs.
I don't know how to tell people how to figure out how many plants to grow. To me, that's so is it subjective? I always mix those two up. Subjective. I don't think that those charts and all that stuff, I don't think that it's super. I think I think that's trying to simplify something that's not that simple. I mean, like, how can you say how many tomato plants to grow for a family if, not everybody eats fresh tomatoes, but they do eat sauce, or, I mean, like, that's just too hard. I think you just have to grow things to get a handle of them.
Honor system, like leave a roll of Charmin Ultra for a bag full of vegetables.
I usually do say, I mean, like, my stance is this. If you have limited space, you can't grow all you need anyway. If you have plenty of space, just grow extra. And if you have animals, you can feed it to them. And in times like this, you can share it with somebody else. I figured it out 2 weeks ago. I'm growing too many tomatoes. There's no such thing as too many tomatoes.
We were gearing up to start 1,600 tomato plants for the shindig. So we got lots.
It's kind of funny though. And see, this is one of those things, like I said, I just love how the details work out. But like, I had started a ton of Dr. Witchy's and climbing triple crops because I was going to sell those two as the most. So I have like 4 or 5 trays, each of those. And then we got the high tunnel and it was like, oh man, we're going to have to fill this up with tomato plants. And then the shindig gets canceled. And then I'm left with a ton of plants of some of my best producing plants that I can plant in my high tunnel. So I'll have plenty to share with people. How much did that load of dirt cost that we got, the 20 yards? Well, we have to pay pretty good delivery fees because we live like out in the country. So I think it was like 600 something, 600-ish, including the delivery fee out here. So definitely an investment.
But
the
we also
soil
found
is the most
out
expensive part
that
of our garden.
For our place, if you have a business EIN, they'll give it to you for half price.
Which we didn't
know at the time.
Would have saved us a few.
And I honestly think we might need one more truckload after we disperse this through all the new stuff that we're doing. And if that's the case, then we'll get it for half that. The delivery fee is the same. The material will be half price. So they'd be like 400 or something.
Yeah. TD Watkey, I think that too. I really just love to see the details that are lining up. Warren, we're not early. We were.
You behind, girl. You gotta change your phone. You ain't in Georgia no more, girl. You ain't in Georgia.
My son came home from school in December and the fake flu was going around. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that have felt like maybe something else was going around. I'm still recovering from being sick.
See you, City Stead.
The week before I went up to Iowa, that week before I got sick, and I was recovering when I went up there. And I'm still not 100%, I don't think. Yeah, be strict with your zucchini or they'll swamp you. I don't grow just a ton of squash or cucumbers because, I mean, like, you're just limited on options on how to store those. Like, you can them, but I mean, like, one year I had so many pickles that I just never wanted to see another pickle. I had so many cucumbers, and I think I canned like 2 or 3 years worth of pickles that year. And so I'm going to try more squash this year, but I mean, there's only so many ways you can do that. For me, tomatoes and peppers are both really, really versatile. And so I grow a lot of those. Yeah, lockdown there. The lockdowns are starting here. I think there's only like 6 states that are currently on lockdown, 7 or something like that. But it's probably going to start here pretty soon. That's a great idea, Red Panda Ann. That would be really awesome to do like a vendor post. Xavier, the issue that I'm having with the row covers is that the stuff is bolting underneath because it's so warm. I think I'm going to get some sort of like netting, like tulle or something like that. We do have a curfew here. We're under curfew, yes. And all the stores are closing early. Like even Walmart's closing at like
Walmart is no longer 24/7. Like, Home Depots and stuff like that are closing at 6. The curfew starts at midnight.
Yeah, the curfew's really weird hours, I thought, but
midnight to like 6 or 5.
But I think the reason why they're doing that too is because, well, from what I understand, I mean, if you cut out people driving from midnight to 5 in the morning, you're going to cut out a lot of the like leaving bars. I mean, the bars are all closed, but like, they're trying to eliminate wrecks as well because the more wrecks they are, there's more people in the hospitals. Oh, wow. BB from Spain. Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing that. I've been keeping up with a lot of the stats and listening to that guy. So it's definitely an incredible time that we're living. I keep telling my sons, I'm like, this is history, guys. Like, you're going to grow up and tell people, like you're going to talk to your kids one day when your kids are reading this in history books, you're going to talk about it. Yeah, I'll share a good cucumber pickling recipe when we get down to it, or maybe try to find one. It is definitely very interesting, for sure. I really, my hope has been just since this really started. I think the first day that going to try sesame this year, you guys take care. Thank you, Keltoid. I think the first day that I realized, like, oh wow, like, okay, this is not the flu. Like, whenever I first realized that something, if nothing else, that we were going to have a huge national response. Oh, thank you, Ashton. Thank you for the devotional. Not the shepherd is just what I need to hear. Thank you so much for that. It was that day that I posted a video and it was called I Just Want to Go Home or something like that. And a lot of you commented that you could tell that I was visibly very shaken. Like, I had just gotten home from the grocery store. I'm like a real feeler, like whenever I'm in places and a lot of people are afraid, it makes me feel really on edge. And I came home that day and I literally just I just sat down with Jeremiah and I just sobbed. Like, I just the weight of it. I was just like, this is not small. And then, kind of got my head and really spent, honestly just spent some time in prayer and kind of got around it. And since then, my stance has been to try to share what I have as much as I can. The first thing, obviously, is just gardening knowledge. I mean, a lot of people right now are realizing that they want to grow a garden. And so my hope has been to I know I'm making a lot of informational type videos and I'm going to keep making them. There's going to be a lot of that sit down with your notebook and I'm just going to give you a lot of information kind of thing right now. But to me, that's what's necessary right now. And maybe it's just helping me feel better about it, but I really do think that it's going to help equip people. How do you store peppers? Do you freeze or can them? Lori, my favorite way to store peppers is to dehydrate them because you can always rehydrate them to cook with them, or you can make powders, or you can ferment them once they've been dehydrated, and they store in the pantry, so you don't have to use freezer space. And then I'll can pickled peppers and do some candied peppers and stuff like that. But dehydrating is probably my favorite way. I have absolutely considered the fact that the closing of the businesses and stuff is going to be incredibly difficult for people.
Yeah,
absolutely. And honestly, one of the things that I was actually praying over and have been praying over is suicide rates and stuff like that. And honestly, my number one hope and prayer is that people find, honestly, just find faith and they become rooted in genuine hope through this because, I mean, this is just unprecedented. And yes, I understand that it is very, very difficult. But do you think that things will ever go back to normal?
I don't know.
I think, can I be honest? I hope that through this normal can be redefined. I mean, I could see this being a turning point for a lot of the things that I've hoped that people would go back to. I mean, can you imagine on the amount of people that will grow a garden this year out of necessity and who from this point on will become gardeners for the rest of their life? Hey, Benjamin, baby, go to the potty. Okay. Go use the potty. Sorry. Potty dance.
Sometimes he just forgets. Oh yeah, there's that thing where I have to go pee.
But, you know, I mean, like people spending time at home with their kids, people spending time at home with their family. A lot of people are learning to cook from scratch that never have before. A lot of the skills that I stand for and that I teach people, I mean, people are picking up out of necessity, and I hope they'll take it out with them. And so I hope that changes in normal. I'm not an economics person. Honestly, I don't know much about investing. I don't know much about the stock market. I'm just I don't know. And so I have no idea what kind of recovery looks like. I mean, I'm praying for the best. I really am. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what it'll look like normal. Alexis Lucas, thank you so much for that super chat. Hi, guys, from Puxatawny, PA. You have been my inspiration for my garden this year, hoping to teach my baby everything I know. That's so wonderful, Alexis. Bless you too. Thank you. Ooh, I almost left the site. My concern is how dependent we are on other countries for fresh fruits and vegetables. I hope this opens the eyes of people to grow more of their own food so our own economy is more independent. Absolutely, Xavier. Resources for backyard chickens. Heather, I've got some stuff, but not a lot. Honestly, when I was getting into chickens, I was watching a lot of Justin Rhodes stuff. And so that's kind of still my go-to and what I tell people to go to. We're actually getting ready to build something like Justin's Chick Shaw, because we're actually going to run a second coop of layers for the time being. I mean, our family sat around the table. And I mean, we sit around the table and eat dinner more than a lot of people, but we're really busy. We don't always do that. And I mean, this has slowed us down in a really sweet way. Good night, Cast Iron Mama. How do you make cream cheese? Funny you should say that. I'm actually about to order some cultures for that this week. I'm hoping to make a video about it. No, he's not drinking. Or are you somebody saying you need coffee?
I'm yawning.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drink coffee, though.
I saw, yeah. I saw Tammy say, thank you, Mary Ellen. And I was like, what did my mom say? Thank you so much, Kathleen. I appreciate that. Guys, can I tell you what a blessing it has been to me? Oh my gosh, I always get so stinking emotional. I can just feel it. I can feel it welling up. Don't pet me, then I'll really start crying. Yes. I've received, I hope I can say this without sounding arrogant. I've received countless messages over the last week of people saying, thank you so much for encouraging me to start where I am. Because of that, I now am not as afraid as I would have been. I feel empowered. I feel thankful. And I don't know, like I don't think I really expected that. And I know you guys say stuff like that to me, but like the idea of how many people have little backyard gardens right now, it to me feels a lot like all these other little things that have lined up about us having the high tunnel and me starting all those plants for the for the shindig and the shindig getting canceled, but now me having enough plants for the high tunnel and like all of these different things, like they've just lined up that I'm stepping into this, and it is scary, but I'm like, thank you, Lord, like that all of these little details have come together, and I feel like, okay, I can get through this. I can help people. And whenever I'm getting those messages of that kind of encouragement, and I kind of am like, how many gardens are there? How many people do know that they can grow food in their backyard now? How many, and honestly, not just from our channel, but from just the YouTube community at large. I mean, this has exploded. I read that YouTube, I think it was Jake from White House on the Hill, was saying he had spoken to a YouTube employee, and the homesteading and gardening niche in YouTube was the fastest growing niche in YouTube last year, surpassing even the beauty industry. And like, this has done a lot of good. And
it's like Horton Hears a Who.
We are here.
We are here. And if enough of us get together, we are here, and start calling out for this, like, it's going to have breakthrough.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just incredible with this happening. And I just think of how many people are actually having that. Greenwich Homestead, you're definitely in my prayers, and definitely thinking about the grocery store workers. It is incredible. I keep seeing things that say, who'd have thought that like, let's remember that the ones who saved us were the grocery store workers and the nurses and the doctors and the people who kept going to do their jobs, like these people. And that is so incredible to me. I mean, like, truly, I was at the grocery store this week whenever I went out, and I was just thinking, like, this requires bravery. So I think that's really incredible. Yep, the HOA channel, Homesteaders of America channel, is starting a series tomorrow covering a lot of different topics and sharing. A lot of different channels are taking part in that collaboration. I'm actually going to be doing a video that goes up tomorrow. So, yeah. Send your hugs through social distancing. Today we had a couple, and we've been like kind of finishing up, like some of our friends had to come get their pigs that they bought from us, Pine Knot, and like some different things they've had to come. And we've just been like telling everybody, hey, we're totally practicing social distancing, so we're going to keep our distance, we're going to stay outside, all of that. And we had some couple that lived down the road that came today, and they actually have a mill, and we're going to have them do some milling for us from some cedar for our new raised beds in the greenhouse. And anyway, she was so funny. She's like, let's take a picture together, social distancing selfie. And like, she was standing like 10 feet in front of us and like smiled, like, and we're like standing off in the background. It's so funny. I was like, what a weird time we're living in. It's so weird. No, so I don't know. Oh, well, I guess Murray can answer that. So yeah, the Homesteaders of America thing starts tomorrow. If you guys want to share it, go check that out. Yeah, that is crazy. Pest control workers. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of people that are really considered essential, but my dad is a building inspector for the city. And so he has to go, and my dad is really cautious, and he's like, like making sure, he's like following incredible hygiene, wearing protection, like face and, mask and gloves. And because he's got to come into contact with the public, and he even has to go into people's homes to do some inspections. And they've started some hold up. And a lot of what he does is doing new houses, and he's not around people. But they've actually canceled all non-essential inspections. But he's having to do that. And if he's not doing his job, that part of the economy comes to a screeching halt. And so it's crazy. It's hard to wrap your head around everything. Wow, Luca, Jen, that's amazing. I love hearing that. And I'm so thankful because, I've talked to a lot of people that get told don't even bother growing food. And honestly, when we moved into our house, and this is so funny now when I think about this, but when we moved into our house, there was a man that used to live across the street. He doesn't live there anymore. He sold the house. And he had bought his little farm, and he was going to do the whole farm thing. And he was retiring out there. And we're like super jazzed. We're like, yeah, we're going to do this farm. We're going to have chickens. We're going to grow a garden. We're going to do all this stuff. And he literally was like, don't even bother. He was like, coons are going to kill your chickens. Deer are going to eat your gardens. You're never going to be able to grow food out here. Like, he literally said that to me. And I remember being like so discouraged. And I was like, well, I've got to try anyway. We moved out here to do it, but here's our neighbor saying that. And of course, it's funny now. You look at how much we're doing, and it's just like, what if we had listened to him? And that's really the question for everybody. Look at everything that's happening on our farm right now. And then as a consequence, all the things that are happening on other people's farms and in other people's yards because of what they saw and were encouraged here. Like, what if we had listened to him? What if you have a whole legacy of growth on the other side of choosing not to listen to the naysayers? Andrea Proctor, my video is about seed saving, which I may still actually have to film some things tonight. I filmed it today, but it's so much information. I have a hard time whenever I'm like trying to convey a ton of information, making sure that I don't make your blank brains explode, because I don't want to do that to you, because I like you. Okay. There's nothing to lose by growing food. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, some people are Debbie Downers. Are you reading comments? Y'all, it never fails. People think something's wrong with Jeremiah because he spends the whole live like this, but he's always reading the comments on his phone because it's hard to watch him on the screen. Oh, Sandy Elliott, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, with seed saving, I think it'll, I don't know. I'm gonna do my best to get it all across. I am so excited for my tomatoes to grow, Andrew. I miss tomatoes.
I mean, I'm not worried about deer and stuff in the garden. Let's just be honest. If a deer shows up, we don't have meat.
My hens, you can.
Sorry, I didn't know your toes was hanging out under there.
Somebody asked about. I'm sorry, I missed it. About your hens eating eggs. Unfortunately, with hens eating eggs, a lot of times once they do it, it's really hard to break them. But if you want to find the hen that's eating the eggs, what I've been told is to drill out an egg, drain it out or blow it out. You can poke holes in both sides and blow it out, and fill that egg with mustard and like mustard. And put it back in the coop, and you'll find which hen is eating the eggs, because you'll find the hen that's covered in mustard. And that's like the trick to figure out which one is doing it. I've also heard that putting some fake eggs in with them may deter them, because if they go pecking on those, they won't get anything. And so, that's something you can do, but then that you're still taking a risk. It's usually, if one is doing it, it's usually, if you stop the one that started it, you can stop all of them, because the other ones will start doing it. But if they just, you occasionally get an egg eater, that just happens. But sometimes you can break it, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes that chicken has to go. So how do you prevent deer? We've actually not dealt with deer just a whole lot. There's 1,000 acres of forest behind us, which means that we have all kinds of stuff right behind us, but they also have 1,000 acres to roam around. So our property is not that appealing to them, because they have no lack of food. So we actually have only ever dealt with deer a little bit. And we have the fence. We have dogs. That probably deters it. I've heard that one of the most fail-proof ways to get rid of deer is to hang Irish Spring soap, like the original Irish Spring soap, around your garden, and that deters them. And some people will like nail it to the tree or whatever. So
you could put up a hot wire.
A hot wire helps. That's something that helps as long as you put it high enough. Some people will put a hot wire up and then smear peanut butter on it, so they'll lick it. And then that'll train them back.
It'd only take once.
Angela said dried blood around whatever, blood meal and bone meal. That's something that you can put around that's supposed to deter deer.
You could hang out there cooking up some deer sausage. That'll probably deter them.
We actually, and a lot of places, I mean, if you live in the country where you can actually, if you are a hunter, like you can get nuisance tags, and you can get permission to shoot deer that are in your garden. And that's what a lot of people do.
And honestly, if it comes down to it and you need some food, I wouldn't even worry about the tag. Just shoot the deer and eat it.
I don't think that you're allowed to say that on the live in front of 1,000 people.
Okay, well, just pretend like I didn't say it then. if someone's going to come down on me on that in this situation, like, check yourself.
Oh, that's a good idea. Cheap solar lights, fishing line, black pepper. You guys are so full of knowledge. I'm so proud of you. Fire a warning shot. Pee where you don't want the deer. I've heard that before because the smell.
Yeah, but that's very temporary, because once the urea part, the ammonia part wears off, which is like less than 10 or 15 minutes, they can't smell it.
The thing that I don't understand is this.
You could
Why,
do-
when you're hunting, do you have to go through so much trouble to keep the deer from knowing you're there? But I can be in my garden and they're still going to come eat my food. Like, I mean, not while I'm in it, but like, I mean, you have to like watch your tracks and like make sure you got to have the spray and all
the
the
people
things.
who are having to cover their scent up are hunting experienced bucks
Oh.
and drawing them out into the open and not getting like does. This is what you're getting eating your garden. I have not seen a buck come up to our garden ever. Like, there's a difference. Does will just, honestly, they're kind of dumb. Like, seriously. Like, my first time hunting out on that property down the street, I shot the first doe and the rest of them jumped and then went back to eating.
Meemaw's Hippobilly Homestead said you have a bunch of boys that you could put to the task of the pea thing as a challenge. How about a coyote? Just discovered I have 2 living behind me. Tammy, I've never dealt with coyotes actually doing anything. That's the thing. Like, we have them. I mean, like, all through the spring and summer, you can sit on my back porch and listen to the coyotes laugh. Like, they are out there in droves. We have a lot of them. We've seen one. We've actually he's laid eyes on one in the whole time we've been here. But we've almost always had dogs. So I don't know if that's why, if we have enough space. I don't really know. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think we'll have a whole lot of deers this year or anymore because all the woods have been cleared.
Yeah.
We've got pigs running the backside of the property with a hot wire that they're going to be spooked by. I just don't see it happening anymore.
Yeah.
We've got Ross Poldark and alpacas on that side in the woods. Like, I don't think we'll have any more deer problems.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, at this point, the deer have to come through 3 fences to get to our garden, and they can. I mean, they can get through 3 fences, no big deal. But they, I mean, like, that just, they'll have to go through pigs and goats, and I just don't know that they're really going to do that. Maybe, but. Oh, goodness. Are they easy or hard animal to keep, llamas and alpacas? We've had some issues with keeping them, and
they're
I think
not easy.
They're now, if you got something from a place that was local to you, that would probably be different, but we brought ours from like much further north, and they have had a hard time with the shift, and so I don't know. That's probably seasonal. I know a lot of people keep them just fine, but
soya beans? What are soya beans?
Denise Wilson. Buy granulated urea pellets. The things you never think you'd buy before you have a farm. Oh, I'm getting tired.
Yep.
I'm about ready to wrap this bad boy up.
Wrap it up.
Bye, BB from Spain. Thank you for coming and sharing. I will plant extra to share, but how do I encourage neighbors to grow as well? They have unused beds and space. I have a few layers that will sharing deter stealing. It's an urban garden. Will sharing deter stealing? I mean, you hope that, but you really just don't know 100%. Another thing that somebody asked about worrying about people stealing in the garden. Our garden is very well lit. We keep the lights on in the pavilion at night and in the greenhouse, and we'll continue to do so, and probably put some more solar lights out there. That's kind of a deterrent from stealing. But, I like to think that, but here's the thing. I don't know where you are, but if this is really going to be as serious as they're saying, it's going to become pretty evident here in the next couple weeks that it's going to be that serious. And some people will still scoff. And I think you just have to, I think it's a good idea to have extra plants. Like, I think, sharing plants, sharing seeds, definitely would be good. Yeah, Terry, I would absolutely love to do that. And so, yeah, people are still going to be people, and especially when they're scared, they're going to do stupid stuff. And so, yeah, stealing is definitely, I assume that's probably part of this. I saw this one thing. This is so tacky, but it was funny. And it said, advice to looters, don't. from a bunch of dads who have been cooped up with their kids for 2 weeks, watching their 401k plummet and while their children make 100 TikTok dance videos. I was like,
Yes, sir.
we're about to have your ice cream. How about that? Okay. You want to come say goodbye to everybody? We're going to pray for everybody. Come here. We're going to pray for everybody, and then we're going to say goodbye, and then you can have your ice cream. Okay. You've been so patient. You want to pray with me? Okay, let's pray. Well, I'll pray, okay? God, thank you for our friends. We just ask that you would flood every person that's on here with peace, Holy Spirit, that you would just go where they are. God, that you would allow them to feel safe and brave. God, that you would just allow your wraparound presence to come around them. Father, that you would just put your hands on them with our first responders and our healthcare workers and the UPS delivery drivers and the grocery store workers and all of the people that are having to be out in this, Father, for all of the people that are staying home, God, that they would have your hand on them, that they would feel your presence in their homes. Father, we just ask you for protection and we just ask for your presence above all, God, that throughout this process that people would look back at this as a pivot point in their life where they became closer to you, where they began to see your hand. They began to see your hand working in their life, God, that you're working out the details and that we're not alone in this. And Father, we just ask for an incredible testimony to come from this, that you would be magnified and glorified through it. And we just praise you and thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Mwah. Okay. You ready to say?
Bye.
I have no idea what the liquid from Ben was like. All right. You ready to say goodnight?
Good night.
All right. Well, say, everybody stay safe. Say, everybody stay safe.
Everybody stay safe.
Plant your garden.
Plant your garden.
Eat your tomatoes.
Eat your tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
We bless you. Until next time.
Bless you.